Life and death are in the power of the tongue. So you still have to decree and declare things like this. Listen, over racism, said we win. Over terrorism, said we win. Over poverty, said we win. Let me make it clear. BICTORY, we will win, and here is why. Everybody say BICTORY. Come on, say it loud. We will win, and here is why. Because we are destined, stronger together, stronger together. Say you are. Don't ever forget, we're the land of the free. Yes, we are. We're the home of the brave. Every winner say we are destined to win.
Gone but not forgotten. Damaged in the world, so hateful and downtrodden, just plain rotten. Another teen is killed or another hero has fallen, and sad to say, but these are the headlines way too often. Day after day, the news is filled with blood-stained drama, reflections of community trauma. Our city is in a crisis. Mothers crying out because the streets are decorated with their babies' bodies laying there lifeless. Our city is in a crisis. I want to listen to live music and enjoy summertime shy, but our city is in a crisis. Victims of murderous vices. But how can we erase the blemish that is trying to identify us? This is not what represents our city. This is not what characterizes us. So why do we reflect on the stain and protect those who remain? As if our cooperation needs a license. Where's our help? We need some aid and assistance, block by block, dodging shot after shot, but together we can raise the flag of resistance. In Bronzeville, we have what you call urban resilience. So BSCO came up with something that's brilliant. Through counseling, mentoring, and workforce development, we can begin again. With the incisive leadership of the Turn Center, we can begin to dream again. Faith leaders intact, unity in the community, we can begin to live again.
Let us pray. We're so thankful for this day, and we're honored to be able to come to celebrate Bright Star Community Outreach. Throughout time, God has sent many servants, many messengers to do a work. And we're so thankful that in this day and age, He has sent Bright Star Community Outreach. So we pray for Pastor Harris, the founder, the visionary. We pray for every worker, and we pray for every friend and supporter. Now, Lord, bless this time tonight. Those who have gathered right now, we all hurt, even though we have not been shot. We all feel the pain, even though we may not have suffered the same trauma. But we all put our hands together to work on this issue, this cause of making sure that everyone has a free and abundant life. Now, Lord, I thank you and I praise you. And everyone said, amen.
BSCO's mission is to accomplish two things. We want to find a holistic way to strengthen and empower youth and families. And secondly, we want to take that same holistic concept and scale it across an entire community. And the way we do that is by utilizing the Urban Resilience Network model.
Our after-school program focuses on 4 key components: academic enrichment, social-emotional learning, health and wellness, and recreational play. On a day-to-day basis, we provide our youth with fun activities such as robotics, coding, sewing, posh pen, coaching, and we also take them on a variety of field trips.
Child and Family Services is committed to empowering the community residents with skills and resources needed to be successful. We have been fortunate to serve over 200 youth in our out-of-school time programming and just recently added Check and Connect mentorship program.
With this, BSCO was able to provide mentorship to over 120 high-risk youth within 4 high schools in the greater Bronzeville community. Due to capacity levels, unfortunately, we were unable to service all of those in need. However, we did collect 150 referrals of students to be waitlisted for future programming efforts.
Some of the services we offer are parent cafe, parent coaching, parent classes, anger management, and various types of counseling. During our first year, we were able to host in 9 schools, and this year we have so many more schools on the list.
We asked BSCO to come into Dunbar High School, and as a result, our at-risk freshmen who received services excelled, and our freshman on-track rate is at 94%. The mentoring program provided academic support and relationships for our students, which gave them the feeling of being a part of our Dunbar family, and that they could achieve any goal that they set for themselves.
What is really important about the work of Bright Star Community Outreach is that they're leading the effort to build a comprehensive and coordinated violence prevention strategy in the community of Bronzeville. And they're doing that by bringing evidence-based programs into the community, but also by using research to evaluate the programs that already exist in the community to test whether or not those programs really have the impact that we think they have.
We were able to successfully survey nearly 1,700 Bronzeville students across 21 schools in the community this year. This surpassed the 1,600 youth across the 19 participating schools the last time in 2015.
So here's what they're saying to us. Bright Star, we're trusting you to take this research and turn it into a resource. That's what it's really all about.
Every year through the Safe Passage program, we help over 1,800 students at 7 area schools safely travel to and from school. And this year, we will be expanding our footprint within the greater Chicagoland area.
So what makes me most excited is the fact that BSCO has partnered with more than 50 organizations in the greater Bronzeville footprint. Just think about it. We are the convener and not the competitor. Our goal is to make sure that we create relationships that turn into resources for the residents within our reach.
One Summer Chicago, over 300 youth employed from retail to research. United Way, we have a goal of 5,000 residents employed in Bronzeville over the next 10 years, and we're going to exceed that expectation. And Envisioning Justice, through Illinois Humanities, where we are re-envisioning and reimagining the criminal justice system, focusing on mass incarceration and other social and political ills.
Why am I excited? Think about it. In the last 9 years, we've grown the company from 3 people to now 500 people employed.
We want our children and families to thrive, not just survive. As a beacon in Bronzeville, we must do our part to ensure access and equity. Our community is in need of the work of BSCO. With the vision of our fearless and faithful founder and CEO, Pastor Chris Harris, and the amazing team of BSCO, we won't fail.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. How's everyone doing? You all right? How can you not be inspired from what we just saw on the stage this evening, right? I want to thank the Walt Whitman and Soul Children of Chicago. How incredible was that? Ending on happy was the right note too, by the way. Khadijah, thank you so much. Khadijah Freeman for that spoken word just before we started tonight. Thank you. And I want to introduce myself. My name is Mark Rivera. I'm an anchor and reporter with ABC 7 Chicago. And we are so thrilled and honored to be joining you this evening because Bright Star is what Chicago is. That's what Chicago's about. You hear a lot of stuff. We have to talk about it. But Bright Star, a community coming together, is what Chicago is about. Because that's our Chicago, right? That's our Chicago. Bright Star. So I want to welcome you all to Bright Star Community Outreach 2nd Annual Fundraising Gala. You guys are so good for being here tonight. Throughout the evening, you're going to learn more about the vision and mission that drives this organization. You'll also have the opportunity to hear about the work that's been done by Bright Star Community Outreach, some of which you just heard in that video as well, affectionately known as BSCO. And you know that no Bright Star event is complete without hearing from the visionary himself. Be ready to hear more about the work of BSCO and the impact on the lives in the greater Bronzeville area and beyond. So to begin our evening, I'd like to introduce Mr. Rodney Carter, the Chief Operating Officer of Bright Star Community Outreach.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I have the distinct honor of welcoming each of you to our second annual fundraising gala. At BSCO, we are committed to strengthening hope and saving lives. We are intentional about serving and being a catalyst for renewal of Chicago's most vulnerable communities. Since we were last together, let me share with you what has come together. BSCO has strengthened its ecosystem. And as a result of that, it has become possible to make one sizable investment and get community-wide impact. We have convened over 50 partners to develop community-wide efforts to strengthen Bronzeville in the areas of education, trauma-informed care, employment, and youth violence prevention. One of the strongest aspects of our turn model is the fact that it rests on the foundation of science and research, yet it is still driven by the community. So essentially, our turn model is science and data informed, but still community led. The work that we have done has begun to get even more recognition over the past year. We have had the opportunity to share our work and discuss expansion with so many leaders, including but not limited to Aviv Ezra, the Consul General of Israel. We got a chance to meet with Ron Dermer, the U.S. Ambassador of Israel. We've also had the pleasure of meeting and sharing our work with the First Lady of the state of Wisconsin and the Mayor of Vicksburg, Mississippi. Additionally, there are 9 other states in the United States that are waiting for us to expand the turn model into their area. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. It is wonderful. I oftentimes say this to our partners and donors. To fund and support BSCO is to fund and support the greater Bronzeville community. And soon we will be able to add to support Chicago and ultimately to support the country. That is part of our long-term vision. In addition to welcoming you tonight, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your support and your contribution to the success of our organization. It truly does take teamwork to make the dream work. As I travel with our CEO, Pastor Chris Harris, to meet various groups of people, he has a habit of endorsing unity. So, as I get ready to take my seat, I want to ask you to do me a favor. 2 things. First, I want to ask each of you to grab the hand of the person sitting next to you and take a look at them. Everyone. Give them that warm smile. And I want you to tell them, neighbor, we are better together. Everyone, clap your hands if you believe that. We truly are better together. Now, here's the second favor. I want to ask all of you to take out your phones, everyone. I want to ask all of you to take out your phones, and I want you to text the words Bright Star to the number 52182. It is available on the screen, all one word, no spaces. Text the word Bright Star to the number 52182. And everyone, by doing so, you will be prepared to donate to BSCO throughout the night. No, we're not going to make a big fuss tonight with the paddle raise or with a silent auction. But we are confident that you will be just as generous with our text to give option that we have available, especially after hearing and seeing for yourself the impact that our work has had and will continue to have as we continue to do our work with combating violence and trauma. And I also just got word that we are very excited to announce that already we have received our first donation tonight for the evening at $10,000. Yes. I want to personally, on behalf of Pastor Harris and Bright Star Community Outreach, say thank you to the host of our family. Chris and Sue, if you can wave your hands. Thank you so very much. And everyone, thank you very much and enjoy your evening. Thank you all.
Rodney, we appreciate your insight here, and the progress that's been made has been significant here at Bright Star over the past year. And we know that the programming already mentioned, we talked about that. Bright Star is also, though, taking an active role in bridging communities through the work that they do. One such activity took place over spring break. 33 students from the African American and Jewish communities traveled to Memphis, Tennessee, Little Rock, Arkansas, St. Louis, Missouri, and Springfield, Illinois. During this trip, the youth had the opportunity to learn about other cultures and share experiences of both tragedy and triumph. And I would now like to welcome Simon Adams and Christiana Harris to share their experience with you.
I'm Simon Adams.
And I'm Christiana Harris. And we are two of the youth that participated in the Let's Get Together spring break trip. Now, I have to be honest, as the daughter of Pastor Harris, I am often asked or required. Most of the time I am hesitant, but this time I was a little hesitant too. This experience was a great one, and I look forward to growing some of the friendships that I made on the trip.
Yeah, so I had a great time too on the trip, and there was a lot that I learned. The experience when we went to Memphis, we went to the Civil Rights Museum, and a few seconds ago, before I came up, I was a little nervous, and my mom said, "Don't worry, tonight's all about love." So that's what I think is interesting about the Let's Get Together trip, because that trip was all about love. And we went to the Civil Rights Museum, and we learned how Martin Luther King and other people throughout history dealt with racism and fought back with love. So.
Simon, what about Little Rock, Arkansas? To know that the students experienced so much opposition to go to school and persevere in spite of the forces against them. The experience of the Little Rock 9 makes me appreciate school a little more.
Me too. My school, Lane Tech, is diverse, and I like it that way. I have friends from all over, and International Days, which is a day where there are groups of students that perform dances from all around the world, from where they're from. My heart is just filled with joy, because without people like the Little Rock 9 sacrificing, I wouldn't be able to experience the diversity and the different cultures at my school that I'm able to experience. So yeah. And the Let's Get Together trip really just enforced in my mind how lucky I am today to live in a world where different cultures are accepted. So.
I am looking forward to the understanding more about political process and how people do things in a way that makes a difference. Speaking of making a difference, the Central Reform congregation that we visited in St. Louis was amazing. Rabbi Tavi was so welcoming and took so much time with us to answer our questions and talk with us. To know that her synagogue was instrumental in housing individuals during the Ferguson riots made me understand her impact in the community, but now I see how that is possible by the way that she was so kind to us. Thinking back on the trip, I know that the places that we visited were wonderful and historic, and they definitely opened my eyes to in a different way. But the other part of the trip, getting to know people and doing fun things together, made the trip fantastic.
The conversations on the bus rides were probably, to me, the most important thing. Yes, we did go to Springfield and we talked to state representatives about legislation, laws we thought might make a difference in our communities. But learning, talking, that was what really informed me about the divides and the struggles that both the Jewish community and the African American community face. And I'm so grateful to be able to talk with all these wonderful minds that think the same way. And we had to talk about stereotypes about each other, Jewish stereotypes and African-American stereotypes, and it made me think how quick to judge we are of each other, and how when we take a step back and expose ourselves, and we can really just push forward and realize that these stereotypes don't matter to anybody. And yeah, that was beautiful. Just the talking, the experiencing, the singing. I sang with everybody. Oh my God. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to introduce a very special man here, Skip Schrayer. He is a man who wears many hats, for sure. Skip Schrayer is the CEO of Associated Agencies, Inc. He's the president of Auto and Home Insurance Agency. Skip is also a member of the Bright Star Community Outreach Board of Directors. And this year, he picked up the additional hat, yes, one more, of being the gala chairman tonight. So he's doing a lot of work. I've been told that the contributions Skip makes are invaluable. And the board of directors and the leadership team at Bright Star Community Outreach are appreciative beyond words for everything that you have done this evening and continue to do. So join me in a round of applause for Skip Schrayer here as he addresses us as gala chairman.
Thanks, Mark. I'm giving you permission to eat, so don't think it's rude. Eat your dinner. My mother would be very unhappy that the food was going cold. About 5 years ago, a friend of mine from LA texted me from the APAC Policy Conference in DC and told me there's a preacher from Chicago that I needed to meet. His name was Pastor Chris Harris. So Pastor Harris and I met, and we shared our love for the people and the state of Israel, and he shared his vision with me of the Bronzeville community in particular and for the city of Chicago in general. And he also told me about his meeting with Natal in Israel and how the de-escalation of tension after a terrorist event was exactly what he needed in his community. Like many of you, I grew up in a home steeped in Jewish tradition and learned from my parents and grandparents the Jewish concept of tikkun olam, the obligation to repair the world. And I felt I wanted to be a part of this program. So I joined the Bright Star Community Outreach Organization with all our amazing staff, some of which you've met already tonight, my fellow board members who are here tonight, our initial donors, Northwestern Hospital and University of Chicago Hospital, and we began to build on what Pastor Harris had started and created what I think is just an amazing, beautiful program. This event is our second annual fundraiser, and our theme is Light a Candle, after the saying, better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. All of us are tired of hearing the news each Monday morning, the number of shootings and deaths that happened over the weekend. To quote my grandmother's Yiddish, this is a shanda, a disgrace. I don't even know that you can explain the word shanda well, but it's just a horrible thing that could be happening right in our backyard. And I think we must all work together to stop it. So tonight, thank you for helping us to light the candle, to change the world, to build a better Chicago, build a better future for the young people in our community. For those of us who have already donated, my heartfelt thanks. And for those of us that can and haven't given yet, I hope you'll make a gift or an additional gift tonight and continue to support us in years to come. So help us light the candle by texting Bright Star 52182 followed by the amount you'd like to donate. And again, thank you for your continued support and coming here tonight. Thanks.
All right, good evening. I am Dr. Cindy Langley, and I am the clinical director of Bright Star, and I am here with my girl Nunu, because this is terrifying. There's a whole lot of grown folks here, so I really need you guys to welcome her. There we go, there we go. All right, all right. See? I told you, they love you already, and you haven't even said anything. All right, so Nunu, you were in the GREAT program, right? You want to tell me a little bit about what things were like before GREAT?
So me and my mother wasn't really understanding each other a lot, and me and my peers wasn't understanding each other a lot, and I wasn't communicating a lot with other people.
And what was going on in school?
I was about to get a spell, and I was getting a lot of arguments with my friends and people.
Okay, and how did GREAT help you?
It helped me understand my mother a lot more, and it helped me understand my peers, and it helped me think before I act on anything, because I would think about how the other people would feel if I was them.
Wow. All right. All right. And what about in school? How did 6th grade end, and how is 7th grade going to go?
Well, 6th grade ended good. I forgave somebody for pushing me in class, and in 7th grade, I think I'm gonna just push through, and I'm gonna try to pass.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Nuna. Thank you.
This is one of the troubling areas that they had issues with over the weekend. But I can tell you 66 people shot and, of course, 12 dead. And something I want to highlight here, there were 14 people under the age of 18 shot. 2 of those died.
We've lost several of our youth to violence in our community. However, with the help of the community-based intervention and prevention program, we've been able to really target that specific population.
I'm excited, having just completed 5 weeks of training with facilitators from Natal. I ultimately discovered that I had over 20 years of trauma that I had not healed from myself. It's inevitable that all of us are going to experience some type of trauma, but how we handle it dictates how it affects us.
But that's why we decided to take faith and community leaders, identify, train, and certify them to provide trauma counseling based on the Israeli model of Natal. Folks are saying we need more of this. And before we replicate, we want to make sure that we prove out the model right here in Bronzeville and then take this show on the road.
We're entering into schools, meeting with all the staff, administrators, students, and parents to help the entire community become aware of the potential impact of trauma. On July 5th, our Natal-inspired Trauma Helpline celebrated its 1-year anniversary. With the increase of trauma awareness, our helpline is seeing an increase in calls for support and referrals.
It has been an unbelievable year here at Bright Star Community Outreach, and especially within behavioral health services. We have been able to add new programs, and with those additions, we've hired over 20 people within these departments, and we've expanded within different schools and different partnerships with things like partnering with the police department and hearing about some of what they experience just protecting us every day.
Bright Star came into the 2nd District, and it really got the officers talking. It got them more comfortable, and they really were able to express some issues that were really bothering them. They didn't pretend like they were officers. They don't know what officers go through, but they listened to what they had to say, and they showed them coping skills for the issues that they were having. It turned out to be very well-rounded. We do have a lot of mental illness in the community because of the different hospitals that closed down. We don't have enough clinics. And when the officers respond to a lot of these calls, they need to have a reference in order to address the issue that the person is going through. When they're going and participating in the sessions that we have with Bright Star at the 2nd District, it gives them a base so they'll know where to draw from to help that person. And as they continue with these type of sessions, then hopefully they'll get better and better, along with the CIT training that the department offers them. I am forever grateful to Bright Star for that.
All of this work has not only given us the opportunity to interact with over 10,000 individuals, but our partners have also recognized us. Parent University at Dyett High School named us the most valuable partner. We know if we were able to do that in 1 year, with your help, we can reach more people in this next year.
See, without the schools, we wouldn't be able to serve the way that we do. That's why we're glad that every principal in the Bronzeville area, we call them partners.
The key to keeping a non-for-profit alive is to continuously seek out and increase donations. So our goal is to build a donor base of corporate, civic, and philanthropic leaders to not only just write checks or provide dollars, but also share their time, talents, and treasures to BSCO.
One of the strongest aspects of the TURN model is the fact that it rests on the foundation of science and research, but is still driven by the community. So essentially, the TURN model is a model that is science and data informed, but still community-led. With this ecosystem, it is possible to make one sizable investment and get a community-wide impact. I oftentimes say this to our partners and donors. To fund and support BSCO is to fund and support the greater Bronzeville community. This is a part of what makes the work we do so special.
At the Urban Resilience Network, BSCO is strengthening hope and saving lives. Please visit brightstarcommunityoutreach.com for more information.
Now listen, after that baby just said what she said, y'all ought to go crazy for her one more time. Give it up. And I'm going to make a statement, and I hope you all will just scream in this room so that she can hear you say it. She's not going to try to pass. She is absolutely going to pass with flying colors. Now I want them to turn the lights up just a little bit, not too high, but I'm so grateful for you being here today. And I want to see if you guys know how to respond. If you're sitting at the table with the best looking folks in the room, make some noise in here. Oh, come on, you got to do better than that. Make some noise for them better than that. Listen. You must have some sure enough sexy people at your table. That's how it ought to be. It is an amazing night. And let me tell you, I want you guys to understand that you have made tonight extremely special. And I cannot thank you enough. Your presence and your partnership made tonight special. Tonight I won't really use this time to address the horrific plague of violence in Chicago, because daily we are reminded with the various news reports. However, I do want to encourage this room to know that if our city continues to ignore the need to focus on trauma and mental health, nothing will get better. The work of Bright Star Community Outreach's TURN model, TURN being an acronym for the Urban Resilience Network, and we hope to replicate it in other urban communities across this country, is not limited to trauma from gun violence alone. Depression is deadly. Yes, trauma from divorce, losing a job, bad news from a doctor, or just living in communities where you hear consistent gunshots every single day produces serious trauma. What's worse is, unfortunately, not many resources are put toward this issue. And most don't even mention trauma or mental health until a celebrity dies as a result. See, people in urban communities, they may not be celebrities and they might not be wealthy, but I hope you'll clap on this if you agree they are still valuable. And we take the time because they're our partners at Northwestern, University of Chicago, United Way, Cigna. And we make sure that we take the time with SSA to remind our researchers all over the country that those folks that they're talking about, when they look at their data, they are not human subjects. They are our moms, our dads, our siblings, our neighbors. Those are our loved ones. They matter, and they need to not only survive, but they need to thrive, as Sylvia Osborne shared with us. Now, I'm not sure if your neighbor, actually, whoever you're next to, has properly introduced themselves tonight. But I want you to just indulge me for a moment and act like you're at Bright Star Church in Bronzeville, and one more time, grab your neighbor by the hand. Hopefully this time somebody better looking than you are. Okay, see, 3 of y'all won't touch anybody. Must be the best looking person at your table. And I need you to hold their hand real tight, and I need you to look them right in the eyes and say these words: if you ever wanted to know. Now let's try it again. You got to use your preaching voice. Say, if you ever wanted to know what a survivor felt like, shout, you're touching one right now. All the survivors, make some noise up in here. Come on. Yeah.
Sometimes we got to send up a shout to tell life we're still alive. The good news is, whatever you're going through, you don't look like what you've been through. And you have to understand this. You may not realize it, but you just might be tonight sitting next to dressed up pain. Trauma is real, but often it is disguised with a smile and most often laughter and some jokes. Some of the main people who brighten up your day have extremely dark moments. The data that BSCO collected 2 years ago and then again a couple of months ago in 20 plus schools showed us out of the data that close to 2,000 students who took the survey, it revealed that more than 35% of those students show clinical signs of depression. Think about that. That's more than 1 out of every 3 students. Every parent in the room, would you raise your hand? Could it be you have a child who is suffering from depression and trauma? You got to understand that this is why BSCO cannot just focus on trauma that comes from gun violence. Because if you want to impact the entire family, then you must have the capacity to address the needs of the entire household. That's why our prevention and intervention efforts led our model, this turn model, to 5 core competencies: counseling, mentorship, parenting, workforce development, and advocacy. And we're excited about this work. See, you're being here tonight and supporting BSCO's turn model work, not only tonight, but also all year, helps us to light one candle. Then that candle brightens the flame of another. Truth is, we may all at times struggle alone. But as Rodney shared earlier, we are all better together. This next few minutes is an experiment about 2 things: unity and compassion. So I want to give you some instructions. I need to show you how powerful unity is. That's why we brought African American and Jewish youth together and otherwise, to say we're better together. But words are not enough. We have to have action. Here's what I need. I need one person at every table to find and grab its one white ball in the center of your table. Please take a moment. That one person, if you have the ball, raise it up in the air. That's the nosy person. They wanted to know what that was. Hold it up. Does every table have it? All right, watch. Now the people that have the ball in your hand, hold on. It is very important that you follow instructions. You got the ball? Say, I got the ball. I want you to put that ball in your right hand. It must be in your right hand. Now I need that one person that has the ball in their right hand to hold the ball carefully. Watch this. Put your index finger on one of the silver lines and then your thumb underneath. Hold it there. Check it out. Now the person with the ball, do me a favor. Take your left hand and hold the hand of your next neighbor on your side. Now everybody else, hold hands across the table. Now if your ball is lighting up, that means you're touching 2 and not 1 strip. Hold it. Are we ready? Everybody holding hands? Finally, because the person with the ball should have the ball in their left hand. I just want to make sure you're paying attention. In your right hand. And you should have took your left hand and held the hand, and the next person hold hands, and you're all holding hands. Wait a minute. Now, this is important. Finally, the person to the direct right of the person with the ball. Please take your left hand and put your index finger and put it on the other strip. Hold it there. Don't stop. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. Don't let go. Keep holding. Now I need one of you at the table to just let go? Just one of you. And the reason you're hearing the sound is because when one person let go, the light went out. And that's exactly what happens when it comes to trauma in our community. If one let go, the light goes out. Yeah. Now that you're done playing with your toy, put it down, please, everybody. That was your lesson. Watch this. In unity. Yeah. The light cannot continue to shine with our young people and families if we're not all connected. We're in fact better together for real. Now that was our lesson in unity, but what about compassion? It was Dr. Martin Luther King who said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Merriam-Webster defines compassion. Don't miss this part. Merriam-Webster defines compassion as sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. During our faith and community leaders trainings with Natal, they taught us the difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy allows you to look down into a cave while a person has hit rock bottom, all while you enjoy life from the top. That's sympathy. But empathy allows you to get down in the pit with them, and even if you cannot fix their problem, there is nothing like being with them during their problem. That's what we learned about sympathy and empathy. Yeah. I think this is important. See, that's true compassion. That's why I brought Natal and this motto to Chicago. I want to put a picture on the screen for you, and this is a pivotal moment. And I hope that all of you all will pay very close attention to the photo that Christian is going to put on the screen now. And my heart was absolutely broken. And even if they don't get it on the screen, I want you to pick up your program, and it's at the back of your book. Because I never want you to forget this young lady. You see this beautiful child on the screen? Her name is Kaya. She was one of our 2018 One Summer Chicago employees who was 14 years old. One week ago today, Kaya committed suicide. 1 week ago today, this young lady, and there were no signs of her depression. Had great parents. And now imagine this being your family member, your daughter, your niece, your student, your neighbor. Yeah, let's go further. Imagine the pain of her parents. Every mother and father in this room, I'll ask that you raise your hand. I want to ask you a question. Mothers that are in the room, if her mom was in this room, would you hug her? Raise your hand if you would. Yeah. Fathers, if her father was in the room, would you hug him? Raise your hand. Grandparents, if her grandparents were in the room, would you hug them? Siblings, if her little brother was in the room, would you hug him? Yeah. Well, they're in the room. I'm going to ask you all to bring mom up. And this is where compassion is not a word, but it's an action. Bring her to the middle of the floor right there. And every mother that you said you'd hug her, come do it. And you don't each have to hug her, but just make a full circle. Turn the lights up, please. Because compassion has to be action. Turn the lights up, please, quickly. This is what community is. This is a call to action. Grandma is here. Where's Grandma? Raise your hand, Grandma. Every grandmother hug her if you can. She's right there at that table. See, compassion has to be an action, not just a word. Dad couldn't make it, but we went to his house the other day and hugged him. And this is what it's all about. Now, what's interesting about this circle that you see right now is a circle of compassion. And Mom, no matter how weak she is at this moment, she can't fall because community is holding her up. As they go back to their seats, please make some noise for unity in community. Come on. I don't hear you making noise. Come on. Come on. Yeah, you had to leave the comfort of your seat to go and comfort somebody else. That's called empathy. It may be inconvenient. It may take you coming out of your community, going into somebody else's. But that's what real community is like. Clearly there is a need, but there must be a resource. That's why BSCO is here. That's why we've created the turn model. And to those of you all who are here on the scene, or those of you all who are watching us by way of online streaming now, you ask, how can I help BSCO continue this work? Continue to donate. Not just your money, your time, your talent, and your treasure. Set up meetings for us. Tell people that this resource exists. Forward the informational emails and text messages that we blow up your email boxes with. Tell your networks to turn to the Turn Center for support. Ask radio stations and television networks to donate commercial time to let people know that helpline advocates and trained ambassadors are in place, ready to be deployed. Let us know where there is trauma. We want to come where it is. That's why we're asking you to give tonight. We appreciate all you've done. Rodney asked us all earlier to pull out our phones and text Bright Star, no spaces, to 52182. And by doing so, you'll be prepared to donate to BSCO throughout the night and even throughout the year. We won't make a big fuss, as we promised. But some folks called us and emailed us and said, I'm coming with my company or as a guest of somebody else, but Pastor Harris, I want to contribute as an individual. And I want to tell you thank you. The same way as our friends did from Cigna, Chris and Sue Hosevar, thank you for the initial $10,000 donation for Text to Give. This is what it's all about. But we're confident that you'll be just as generous throughout the year. In closing, let me say Bright Star Community Outreach is proud to be convener and not competitor. In the greater Bronzeville community, we have convened over 50 organizations, including schools. Our principals and educators are here. Every principal, please stand. Clap your hands for them. Come on. Y'all give it up for the educators. Come on, make some noise for the principals. They're all throughout the room, the educators. Please keep standing. My girl, my sister from another mister, Dean Deb Gorman Smith and SSA is in the house. Please stand. Our and the tall, trained faith leaders and community leaders are here. Please stand. Make some noise for these folks answering the phones, going to the community. Skip Schrayer, our gala chairman, and the BSCO board, please stand there in the house. Come on. Yeah, but I got good news for you. We got some other friends in the room. One had to go and catch a plane. But I'm happy to announce to this room, through conversations, myself, my brother from another mother, Rabbi Michael Siegel, Posh Charles, a few others. Yeah, we got good news today, and you see the text to give is going up. Keep on giving. But I'm excited because our friends from the MacArthur Foundation are in the room tonight. And after having a conversation with them about our Greater Bronzeville Community Action Plan and partners, tonight I am happy to announce that the MacArthur Foundation is given to BSCO a grant for our work, this plan, and our partners in the Community Action Plan in the sum of $1 million over the next 4 years. You got to stand for the MacArthur Foundation. Come on, y'all. Please welcome to the stage Program Director Tawa Mitchell of the MacArthur Foundation. Come on.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know how you follow such an emotional and heartfelt outpouring of love from this room. The togetherness that I think we all feel is part of the reason that MacArthur Foundation is making this investment in the Bright Star Community Outreach organization and all of its partners and affiliates tonight. So I think that we just need to give a hand for love and for supporting each other. I am quite moved right now. And I was so stressed because I had all of these wonderful things to say about the partnership that we have been building over the past few months and the relationship that we have built with Bright Star and the work that they do in the Bronzeville community and beyond. And I left them in my office. So at the reception preceding the meeting, I was stressing out about leaving my remarks and how I wouldn't be representing the foundation well and myself well without them. And then a moment like Pastor Harris just brought us through reminds us what's truly important in life and why we do this work wherever we sit, either philanthropy or community-based organization or nonprofit or a mom or an uncle or an aunt in the community. That's really what matters. So at the MacArthur Foundation, I'm part of something called the Chicago Commitment Team, and we have a vision for Chicago where all of our resources are shared, where all of the beautiful things like the Geraghty Center, like the lakefront, like downtown, like every cultural enclave that we have in each community in Chicago, the city where I was born and raised, we have a vision that those resources are shared across communities, across people, across individuals. And I think you've heard it said over and over again tonight that that starts with love, and that starts with each and every one of you, especially the members of the Greater Bronzeville Community Action Plan Network that Bright Star Community Outreach has brought together. So our $1 million investment over the next 4 years is not just for Bright Star, it's for each and every one of the members of that network that have stepped up and that have doubled down on their commitment to that community, so that there are no more Nikias, that we all know that we are loved and that we are one walking in this universe, and that we all have something to give and contribute. So I cannot tell you how excited I am to be the person that gets to shepherd this relationship and that has had the privilege to work with Pastor Harris on a citywide violence reduction working group in the Bronzeville community with partners like Centers for New Horizons and the Community Builders and the School of Social Service Administration at the University of Chicago and all of the wonderful and Northwestern and Lurie Children's Hospital, and the list goes on and on. But I think that's because each one of us is committed to ensuring that these stories don't repeat themselves. So with your help and with your energy and excitement and more importantly love in the room and in partnership with Bright Star Community Outreach, I am so excited that the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation is part of this effort. Thank you for your time.
I did not say $3. Clap your hands for MacArthur. We are so excited and we are so grateful. We are done. I want to tell you, if you know Skip Schrayer, we worked real hard to try to get people in and out. We've been moving so fast, you still have food to eat. You've lit many candles. Thank you to everybody, every sponsor, every ticket supporter, every guest, every annual donor. Thank you to all of our friends. I really, really wish that I can take you to the children, to the youth. But tonight I'm going to ask you all to understand that we decided to bring the youth to you. So the youth are in the building, and we're getting ready to end this program, and they're getting ready to come in a moment. And then we even have Bright Star cups for you to take with you. Make sure you ask the people, where's my coffee cup at? But I'm really, really excited. Please continue to enjoy your dinner. The music for the DJ is going to start in just a few minutes, and I hope some of my homies from Cigna are going to get up and dance with me. All my friends from Northwestern, University of Chicago, United Way, I'm super excited. It's going to be a great night. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy your dinner and get ready for a great party.
Totally believe it. Come on, say, we win, we win, we win in the end. We win, yes we do. We win over sickness. We win over debt. We win over struggle. We win over all. We are, yes we are. I know, yes we are. Every winner say we are destined to.
Life and death are in the power of the tongue. So you still have to decree and declare things like this. Listen, over racism, said we win. Over terrorism, said we win. Over poverty, said we win. Let me make it clear. BICTORY, we will win, and here is why. Everybody say BICTORY. Come on, say it loud. We will win, and here is why. Because we are destined, stronger together, stronger together. Say you are. Don't ever forget.